All right, get ready to dive into a world that's honestly way more than just handlebars and bike lanes. We're talking bicycle couriers today. And wow, you have really done your homework giving us career guides, tech overviews, even interview tips to unpack. Somebody's got some serious career curiosity on their mind.
Well, what's fascinating to me is that it's not just, someone on a bike, right? It's a glimpse into how technology is changing, even these kind of like traditional jobs, and what it takes to really stand out in what's becoming, frankly, a really competitive field.
It's definitely got me rethinking those food delivery folks I see zipping around. So before we get into like the nitty-gritty of actually being a courier, one name that keeps popping up in these sources, RoleCatcher. It's more than just a job board, right?
Oh, way more, way more. Imagine a digital toolkit, but it's designed to help you not just find a job, but really understand how to get hired, especially in this age of algorithms and AI.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. Beat the automated recruiter is a phrase that like really caught my eye in one of these articles. What's the deal with that?
It is wild, right? So many companies, they're using AI now to scan applications. They're looking for those keywords, those experience flags, things that match what they're looking for. And RoleCatcher, it's almost like it gives you the cheat sheet, helps applicants understand how these algorithms think.
So instead of just kind of throwing your resume into the void and hoping for the best, RoleCatcher, it helps you like tailor your application so it actually gets seen by, a real person.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, that's got to be reassuring for anyone who's ever, felt lost in the job application black hole.
Oh, 100%. And what's really interesting is they go beyond just like keyword suggestions.
Yeah.
They give you advice on things like, building an online portfolio, but it's tailored for AI scanning. They even have practice questions to help you ace those, increasingly common video interviews.
It's like having a career coach, but like in your back pocket.
Yes. Whispering all the right moves.
I love it. This is why I love these deep dives. You start thinking it's about one thing, like, oh, riding bikes for a living, but it turns out to be about so much more. But speaking of the actual job, what surprised you about what it actually takes to be a bicycle courier these days?
Honestly, the level of customer service involved. Think about it. These couriers, they're often the only human contact a customer might have with a company, especially now with online shopping being so huge.
Right.
So it's not just about being fast, which obviously, it's about being like the friendly face of the brand. Problem solving, thinking on your feet, going above and beyond. That's what separates the good from the great. And honestly, that's something I know you value in any job, right?
100%. I'd much rather chat with like a friendly face than wrestle with a chatbot any day.
Oh, tell me about it.
And speaking of going above and beyond one of these sources, it actually outlines a career ladder for bicycle couriers. Entry level, junior, senior. Who knew delivering packages could have such like structure?
You know, it really flips the script on that whole gig economy narrative we hear so much about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It suggests that even in a field that's, often associated with these short-term gigs, that there's actually room for some real career development, which I know is something that you're, always interested in.
For sure.
It's not just a stepping stone. It can be a career path.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's break this career ladder down, starting with, those entry-level responsibilities. What are we looking at here?
So entry level, it really is about kind of mastering those fundamentals. It's not just like hopping on a bike and hoping for the best, right?
Yeah.
It's more like, learning the ropes. You're collecting and delivering packages, making sure everything is secure, navigating traffic safely.
Right, right.
Building that reputation for, reliability, trustworthiness. That's key.
It's like laying the foundation before you start building the skyscraper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't exactly be trusted with those like complex deliveries if you haven't proven you can handle the basics.
Yeah. Exactly. 100%. And then once you've got those basics down, that's where things at the junior level, that's where they start to get kind of interesting.
Okay.
Because now the source material is highlighting things like route planning, handling heavier loads, even mentoring newer couriers.
Oh, interesting. So it's like they're taking those entry-level skills and they're saying, okay, you got this. Now let's see what you can really do. I imagine those time management skills, problem-solving skills are becoming pretty crucial here.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine, right, you've got 15 deliveries all across the city, all with these different deadlines. Route optimization, it's like this real-life puzzle.
Right.
How do you find the most efficient path? Save yourself time, energy, all of that.
Yeah.
And then there's that mentoring aspect, right? Helping those new couriers kind of find their feet. It really speaks to that that culture of a support,
Yeah,
continuous learning. We talked about that, right?
totally. Which, if you think about it, ties right back to that customer service aspect, right? You can't exactly provide above and beyond service if you're not constantly learning, improving.
100%.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the next level. What does it take to reach like the top of this bicycle career ladder? What are we talking about?
This is where it goes from doing to leading, right?
Okay.
Senior level, you're managing teams of couriers now.
Wow.
You're developing strategies to improve efficiency. But for everyone, not just you, for the whole team, handling those really complex deliveries, the ones that require that extra care, that extra planning,
Right.
it's a whole different ballgame at that point.
So less about like pedaling and more about like strategizing. Like instead of just navigating traffic yourself, you're figuring out how to help a whole team of cyclists do it, seamlessly. Keep the customers happy, keep those packages safe.
That's it. That's it. The RoleCatcher guide, it even mentions collaborating with management on like policies, procedures.
Oh, wow.
It suggests you actually have a voice in shaping how things are done.
That's cool.
You're thinking big picture now, understanding the whole operation, not just here's my route.
Yeah. Wow. I'm seriously impressed. Like there's way more to this career path than honestly meets the eye. But let's get real for a minute. We've talked about the skills, the career ladder, all that.
Uh-huh.
But what about like the day-to-day reality of being a bicycle courier? What are the like pros and cons according to, what you've read?
Well, I mean, like any job, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? The RoleCatcher guide, I will give it to them. They don't really shy away from, the downsides either.
Okay, good, good.
On the plus side, I mean, there's that flexible schedule. We were talking about that, something we know you're into.
Oh, for sure. Huge plus for anyone who like values that autonomy, being able to kind of set their own pace, all that. What else? What else did they highlight?
The guide really honed in on like the opportunity for physical activity.
Right, right.
It even highlighted being able to, experience the city in a way that most people just don't, right?
Yeah.
You're exploring different neighborhoods, discovering these hidden shortcuts, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's like being a tourist in your own city, except you're getting paid for it.
Okay. Now that's an unexpected perk I was not expecting.
Yeah.
So instead of being, stuck in an office all day, you're out there, you're getting some exercise,
Yeah.
enjoying the fresh air, maybe a little sunshine, who knows?
Right.
It definitely satisfies that sense of adventure we've heard about. But okay, let's not sugarcoat it. What about the downsides? What are we talking about here?
Right, right. No, I mean, they were very upfront about, exposure to weather conditions, rain or shine, snow or sleet, you're out there.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, of course, there's the risk of accidents,
Right.
especially in, busy city traffic.
Of course.
Something to, consider carefully, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, let's not forget the physical demands, right? We
Yeah.
are talking about spending potentially hours on a bike, often carrying like heavy loads.
Yeah.
Definitely not a job for, the faint of heart.
No, definitely not. And while that flexibility is super appealing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they do acknowledge, the guide acknowledges, that it can come with, limited job security.
Right.
And income can be, inconsistent, especially when you're first starting out.
Right. Makes
So
sense.
these are, they're factors to weigh.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about like finding that balance, right? Weighing those pros and cons, seeing how they like align with, your individual needs, your priorities. And honestly, that's where like having access to resources like RoleCatcher, that's where it can be so invaluable.
I agree.
Because you can really do your research, understand those challenges, those rewards, you can make an informed decision. And you're not just like, going in blind.
Totally. 100%. It gets you thinking, in this world where it's all automation, it's all about drones, maybe there's something to be said for that simplicity, that efficiency of a bicycle.
That's a really interesting thought. We've talked about how like technology is changing the game for job seekers, but maybe it's also kind of creating new opportunities for those who can like combine those traditional skills with, more of a modern approach.
Well,
It's like that saying everything old is new again.
100%. And who knows, maybe in the future we're going to be talking about how RoleCatcher helped to launch like a whole new generation of, tech savvy, eco-conscious bicycle couriers who are like changing the face of, urban delivery as we know it.
And we will be here for it. But for now, that is unfortunately all the time we have for this deep dive. Remember to keep those sources coming and, as always, keep those minds curious.